Well, guess what? Like our first guest is here. He had to call in early because he's got something going on later on, and I'm super stoked by this, and I'm truly honored. And it was totally last minute, spur of the moment, and he's now live on the air. Let's welcome to the show. I mean, this dude, much love and respect to this dude, and I'm going to tell him this right now and tell everybody this. Like, let's get him on here first of all. Let's welcome Mr. Jose Mangin. Jose, is that you?
Yeah, what's going on, babe? What's up, brother?
Hey, man. Dude, let me tell you something. You are, like, on my bucket list of life now. Like, I have the goal in life now. I want to eat tacos and drink tequila with you, my friend.
You know, dude, that's so cool. I see that and hear that from a lot of people, and that's an easy goal to have, dude, because that's so easy to happen.
Oh, man. Dude, you know what? It's funny because, you know, I listen to SiriusXM all the time. And whenever you're on, like, the smile is just on my face, but also not only, but my older daughter's face, because I've been trying to, like, really over the years teach her about music and metal. And when she hears you, she loves it, because especially, like, when you have your daughters on there, she goes off. She's like, he just seems like the coolest dude.
Oh, how old's your daughter?
She's 20.
Oh, 20. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, do you know what, man? I try to make the radio shows and everything I do in life around the family, because, I mean, I don't know how else not to make them a part of it. And I've been at SiriusXM for 18 years, and, you know, my oldest daughter is 15 years. So, I mean, I always call Liquid Metal is my oldest son. And and I treat the channel as a son. And so I feel like just my real daughters are just, you know, also just kind of all part of it, man. I feel like being an open book and being super authentic is the best way to go as being a presenter and someone that wants to bring people to our metal party. You know, I don't want to make this something just for us. Like, I want to have kids, little kids, 20-year-olds, or, you know, 80-year-old dudes and you know, grandmas in nursing homes want to come eat tacos and smoke weed and listen to metal with us, man. So for me, like, I just want to make everything open. And I'll say something, you know, babe, when I meet fans from all over the country, the thing I hear the most over the last year, the thing I hear more than anything else, and you just said it too, was, I love it when you have your daughters on the radio. I hear that more than anything else. And I also hear that I love it when you do your show from your daughter's cheerleading game. And it's crazy because I've only done that like 5 times, but I hear that like I do it every day. And it must have just stuck in people's brains, because that comes up. Oh, your daughter's cheerleading game. Oh, that's so cool. And I'm like, damn, this stuff. Football season is short. Like, there's 300 and, you know, whatever 100 days that I do my show, but all people talk about is when I do it from a cheerleading game. So it is cool, and I see that it works.
It's awesome. It really is. And like, now, you said, like, you've been on SiriusXM for 18 years. I mean, you were there before Stern even arrived. You were there when it was really, like, the inception of it. Like, did you, like, help put these stations?
Yeah. I mean, I was there before we even launched our last satellite, before we went national. You know, I was there building the channels. Yes, I built so many channels: Ozzy's Boneyard, Octane, Liquid Metal. And remember, we merged with XM in 2008, so I was always on Team Sirius. You know, there was 2 sides. There was, XM in D.C. and Sirius in New York. XM launched 11 months before we did, and they had the advantage. You know, the early adopters for satellite radio back in the day, the 7-year-old white dude, you know, who had money, that's the guy that first got satellite radio. And XM did a great job marketing and getting out there first, and they went up with 2 satellites. And I can get into the whole differences of, you know, why they launched a lot faster than us, because they gave less of a shit about their satellites and they just wanted to beat us.
Right.
And then we put in satellite constellations that rotated around the Earth and rotated and really hovered over the United States, where XMs were just based on the equator and shooting at a crazy angle, but relying on more terrestrial, horizontal help on Earth. But we don't have to get all complicated. But yeah, so I've been there since the beginning, dude. I've seen everything. I've been there when people were losing faith in satellite radio, and I never, not even for 1 second, never. I always knew it was going to work. I always was the very optimistic employee there, and there were some people, office mates of mine, that are no longer there, and all sorts of people that started there. They just lost faith when the company was, in the penny stock range, and
Right.
it was for a few years. It was not years. I don't know. It was for a little bit there. It was kind of scary, but I always knew, it was like, this is so freaking cool. How can this not work? But then Howard came, and then Howard changed everything, dude. He saved satellite radio. He made it. He did it.
Oh, absolutely.
He did it, man. And then when he came over when he made the announcement in October of 2004 that he was going to come to satellite radio and to come to Sirius in January of 2006, I mean, dude, I cried. I couldn't believe what the hell was happening. That he's coming here. And then when I met him, he was a big fan of my stations. He's really cool to me, and his fans were all rock fans for the most part. I mean, the majority of Howard Stern fans were rock fans. So when they came to satellite radio because of Howard, when he wasn't on, what were they going to listen to? Rock stations, right? So they came to my stations, and then all of a sudden, boom, explosion. All of a sudden now, bands, record labels, industry people, now we matter to them. But in the beginning, and for a lot of people, we didn't really matter. They were like, yeah, Sirius, whatever. We're going to go to AOL. Sorry. But we'd like to have the band come by. We do this in 24/7 metal station. Click. Yeah, we don't have time. Maybe if we do, we'll send the bass player. Like, no offense. I mean, bass players are awesome, but it'd be cool to get a singer too. We used to get like the singers would go to AOL and other places, and we would get the dudes who weren't in demand.
Sure.
And so, but that was fun. And I remembered all that. I remembered the ones that helped and supported us from the beginning, and ones that just came over because we were all of a sudden huge. So, but yeah, dude, I've been there 18 years. It's been glorious. I'm so blessed. I love the company with all my heart. They call me the spirit animal of SiriusXM, which I love that title. And I'm the biggest cheerleader for the company. There's not one other human that goes out on stages and in front of people all the time, every freaking time, all the time, and just preach the good gospel of SiriusXM. And I'm that dude. So the company's changed my life. I'm a massive fan of this music, and to be able to champion it and support it in the ways that we do, it's incredible. I can't believe it. I can't even believe the stuff that gets to happen, man. So I'm just a fan. I grew up of metal on the Mexican border, very poor, just small, humble stuff, and graduate school for pharmacy. I used my brain to get out of my little town, and now to be doing this, it's just I can't believe it.
Yeah, like how did you make that jump, or was being a DJ or involved in the music business was always something on your horizon, and the pharmacy was like the backup plan, or?
I'll give you the quick little story here. So I mean, I was raised in the border. I've been a metalhead since kindergarten. My first tape was Shout at the Devil. My older cousin, by 6 years, got me into the music, and since then I've been obsessed with it. I mean, obsessed. I mean, total nerd, obsessed with metal since I was a little kid, and that's all I did. I was a metalhead forever. I liked other things too, like Star Wars and metal, and Indiana Jones and metal, and chicks and metal. But I mean, football and metal. But it was always metal, always. And it was in high school when I realized that I needed to do something and use my brain. And I got excellent grades, and I got a ton of scholarships, full ride to University of Arizona. That's when I started at college radio. But it wasn't because I was looking for that. I was taking Spanish guitar class, and I had super long hair, and I was playing Metallica on my acoustic before class, and some kind of nerdy dude came up to me, and he was like, "Hey man, what's up? Are you in the you're a metal guy, right?" And I was just playing Metallica, and I was like, I threw my hair back, and I'm like, "What do you think?" And then he was like, "All right, guy, sorry." And then he kept on like talking to me and just being consistent. Week after week, he would just be nice to me. And then eventually he said, "Hey, I'm the music director of the college radio station. We'd love to have you come by and check out the place. Maybe you can start a metal show. We don't have one on the station. We haven't ever." And I was like, "I'm not a DJ. I'm a metal guy, And so one day I went to the studio in the basement of the Student Union in Tucson at the University of Arizona, and I fell in love with the place. And I saw a Korn poster, I saw a Rage Against the Machine poster, and I was like, "Whoa, this is awesome!" And everybody was so cool to me, and they welcomed me. I didn't have any radio experience, but they were just like, "You're metal, right?" And I'm like, "Totally." And they were like, "Well, dude, why don't you think about starting the metal show?" So they're the ones that put that in my head. I didn't even want to be, but I was always a presenter of metal. With all my friends, I was the guy that got everybody into metal, or the guy that played it at parties, or introduced new albums to people. And I videotaped every episode of Headbangers Ball on my VHS tapes, and I'd watch it back throughout the weeks and just memorize the shit, go out and buy these albums an hour, 2 hours north of where I live so I can go to an actual music store. So I really was a student of it. And so that I was always that presenter of metal. And then this opportunity in college radio, I did that for 4 years. I went to graduate school in Tennessee, Memphis, University of Tennessee College of Pharmacy to be a pharmacist. When I picked that graduate school because they had such an excellent rock station. WMFS at the time was a pretty big active rock station that leaned heavy. And I got there, and I eventually got a job as a promotions assistant, and also I ended up getting overnight shift on the weekends. So then I was able to start a metal show there. And then a year into doing that in Memphis, I won an award in a trade magazine for Best Metal DJ. And then that's when I started to get offers to work in the business. Not for Sirius, but just in the business.
Right.
So then I got an opportunity to get flown out to New York City with TVT Records. They wanted to fly me out, and they wanted to talk to me about working for them. And I said, I got 3 years of school left to be a doctor. There's no way I'm going to leave. And they were like, "Just come out to New York. Just come out. And just check it out." So I did, and I fell in love with New York City, never been there. The label was so cool. They had just signed Seven Dust and Nothing Face, and I love those bands to this day with all my heart. And I was like, holy shit. They wanted me to promote metal to dudes like me. And they offered me nothing, but at the time I had just a bunch of little tiny jobs. I wasn't making anything anyway. So I talked to my dad, who's he was 49 when I was born, so he was a much elder dude my whole life, and very, very intelligent. And then he's a French-Irish white dude. My mom was from Mexico, and he sat me down and he talked to me about this opportunity. He said, "You have to do this. You can't regret a decision like this." And he says, "I don't want you to ever regret not doing this. Like, what if something happened, son? Like, you've always been into metal. You need to pursue this. Don't regret this." And I couldn't believe my dad said that. And with that, I thought that was it. That's all I needed. That was the confirmation that the one I really wanted. And I moved to Jersey City in the ghetto. I worked at TVT Records as the metal promotions guy for a few months when I got the call from Sirius Satellite Radio in the summer of 2000. They wanted some product to fill their channels that they were building. And I said, what is this, Sirius Satellite Radio? What is this? And I said, "Dude, you're asking for a lot of albums. Like, I got to get my manager to sign off on this. 50 albums? Like, why do you need all this stuff?" So then he was telling me, and I was like, "I don't know, man. I don't know what this is. Send me some more information." He sent me this brochure, and I remember reading it on the train back to Jersey one night. and I was just reading about the technology, the science, the investment, the building these billion-dollar satellites and launching them from Russia, and the whole team, and then I saw the channel lineup, the initial preliminary one, and it said heavy metal 24/7, and I literally, Bay, I shit myself on the train. I literally had a turtle head come out of my butthole because I was so excited that I couldn't believe that I saw the words 24/7 heavy metal. So the next morning, I called this dude, and I said, dude, I'll give you anything you want. Just tell me who the rock guy is. Please, please tell me who this guy is. And he gave me the dude's email. I wrote him a 7-page email on how I live, shit, and breathe metal. He wrote me back like a 1-sentence reply, and he agreed to meet me at a concert that one of my bands was on the label was playing at. Met me at a show, found out that I wasn't psycho and crazy, invited me to the studios in New York City that they were first barely being built. And I memorized the brochure like a nerd, and the head of programming, this Italian lady, was walking down the hallway, and she walked by me as I was waiting in the lobby, and I said, hey, what's up, Maria? Nice to meet you. I'm Jose Mangin. And she said, how do you know me? Who are you? And I said, I'm Jose. I memorized the brochure. I just wanted to say hi, and she started laughing. Then she said, what's your story? And I told her I'm from Mexican-Arizona border, graduate student in pharmacy, and I'm a metal guy and all this. And she asked me if I knew Spanish. I said, of course. We started talking in Spanish together. And then she asked me about Latin alternative bands and rock bands. I started listing off a bunch of bands that I was a fan of, and she said, you're perfect. And 2 weeks later, I got hired to build the rock department at Sirius Satellite Radio. So, dude, like when people ask me, how'd you get this job? How did you do this? What can I do? And all this stuff. I went to school to be a pharmacist. Like, it's the craziest story. I'm a nerd. I'm a science nerd and a metal nerd. And never in a million years would I think of what I'm doing now. Never. But I just, I manifested it, dude. I willed it. Being so positive and so good and so really, truly doing it for the community, not for myself, never for money. I never did shit for money. I did shit for free all the time. People yell at me. They're like, what are you doing? You're doing it. And I'm like, dude, I don't care. I just want to be a part of it. Like, I don't care. And so that attitude, I really think after all these years of just being such a fan, so grateful to be doing what I'm doing and positive and working hard, that's how all this stuff happened. And so I'm here. Sharon Osbourne gave me great advice one time, man, and I hope that you remember and your listeners as well. It's really good. She told me one time, she was like, you need to visualize what you want to do. Visualize it. Will it to happen. Think about it every single day. Take small steps towards that goal. As big as it may be, take a small step every single day, but think about it every day. And that's what I did, man. I just fantasized about a dream job. I fantasized about what I can do for my favorite bands and what I can do for the new bands. I just dreamt about it nonstop. And it's happening, man. I can't believe that. The greatest thing about my job, besides being able to support my favorite music that makes my heart beat, is that my idols have become my friends. Right. That is the trippiest part of this whole life. That's the biggest, craziest, most mind-effing part, that Ozzy or Tom Araya or Dave Mustaine or Vinnie Paul, like these dudes who I love so much, love me back just as much, but that takes a lot of years. Those guys, Dave and Tom, Ozzy, all those, it took years of constantly being the same, good, passionate, loving, kind, helpful, supportive, like all that, never for myself, never for glory or anything, just for support. And that really, man, I think that now, people just after a while, even if they don't like me, they're like, oh, you can't hate on the guy. I mean, he's freaking really passionate about it, So, back in the day, people would hate on me. People, screw that guy and racial stuff, the Mexican, you don't deserve to be in that position, blah, 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 and all this other stuff. But now it's just like, oh, Jose, oh, yeah, man, oh, he's a diehard, So then, but that's how fans and bands, it took a long time. So people are like, who are you and who chose you to be the metal ambassador? I'm like, well, nobody. But I just, somebody had to do it. So there you go. I know I'm talking a lot. Sorry, dude. That's why I guess I'm on the radio all the time.
Dude, I mean, and that's the one thing you can truly hear whenever you are on the air. Is your passion. I mean, it's from the heart. When you talk and everything you do, when you talk music and play music, when you're out there, preaching the gospel of Sirius at these shows and everything, it's no BS. It's from the heart and it's truly passionate. And
well, you can't lose. I can't
right.
lose if I do that. Like as much as people want to dog me and diss me and whatever, and hate on, because people want to hate all the time on anybody in the world. That's just how this life is, especially with social media now. People just want to hate even more. But again, I mentioned you can't hate on being passionate and authentic. I mean, if you're a fan of hard rock music, then we're friends. Doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, whatever. Like I'll give you anything you want. I'll feed you. I'll give you beers. I'll give you tequila. I'll take care of. This is how our community is. And so I just want to do good for our community. And again, just making it inviting for all people, that's what I'm trying to do.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned his name earlier, and we sadly lost him a few months back, Vinnie Paul, which is still mind-blowing. And I know you were close with Vinnie, and when I hear Pantera or Hell Yeah, it's still out of all the deaths in music over the years, for some reason, Vinnie and Dime, it's still hard for me to believe they're gone. I hear their music and I'm just it's just not right. You know what I mean?
Babe, for me, Dime 14 years ago, that was the biggest loss in my life. At that time, that was my dad. My dad passed 15 years ago, and that was big. That was the biggest one. Sure. And then Dime, the next year. No, wait, my dad passed in 2003. Maya was born in 2003. Vinny passed in 2004. Yeah, the next year. So that was a big one. But I feel like after so many tribute shows and all the Dime pouring of love that we've done collectively as a world, I do feel like Dime isn't with us anymore, just because of what we've done to carry his name and his spirit and his music on. For Vinny, on the other hand, now that was a bigger loss, because with Dime gone, Vinny represented Dime on Earth. More so than anybody else except Rita. And Vinny represented the spirit and energy of Dimebag, those two people. And as the years went on, Vinny's presence and power and influence, it just became bigger. His great spirit and energy and his love was infectious. And people, we all got used to that. Vinny is the life of a party, of any party. There is not one other musician that can come close to being as welcoming, as inviting as Vinny and Dime. More so Vinny, because, again, he had to carry on Dime's spirit with them this whole time. So when we lost Vinny, man, and as close as I, am or was to Vinny, and how much we loved each other, that was, for me, the biggest loss, I would say. And my mom, my dad, and Vinnie Paul, that's how that goes in my life. And that kind of shows, and it probably is the same for a lot of us fans. That loss of Vinnie, you can't replace that. We lost the second half. We lost half, but we had half. It's like somebody going on with a missing organ, and they can still live with one of these, not the other half. But once you lose that other half, then that's it. So it's more real. Now the loss of the core of Pantera is more real, and it hurts all the time. And dude, anything that I can do for the family, for Vinny and all of us fans, like, I'm gonna do, just like I did for Dimebag. Like, now I feel like it's my responsibility now too, in a way, to carry on Dime and Vinny on Earth. Sure. So now Rita and I, who I love so much, she's a close friend. Now, like, we have to work harder. That's how I look at it. Now we have to do more, and be more giving and more positive, and teach how we should all get along. Vinny would open up his home and venues and businesses to strangers, fans, people, whoever, just because he was just that cool. You don't see any other musician doing that. Nobody does that. Lemmy's not here, but Lemmy was Lemmy. Lemmy wasn't really nice, you know what I mean? He wasn't like, yeah, come on, I'll make you some steak and here's a beer. Like, you bought him a beer. But Vinny was the giving type. You don't see a guy from Metallica buying shots at the bar for fans, ever. No one from any big metal band. Name some person that does what Vinny did. You can't. There isn't somebody with that credibility, that much of an awesome resume. There isn't. So we're losing our heroes, man. And what I do say on the radio is that, your favorite band's coming to town, go to the concert. Don't say, oh, I'll just go next time. Oh, I'm lazy. Oh, I don't want to drive that hour. It's far. And then then guess what? We lose these people, and there's not another chance to see that. So I take every time to see an idol, whether it's Ozzy or Judas Priest or anybody that's, been around, man. These dudes aren't going to be around, and that's sad, but it is true. So, Metallica. So, but we need to, these dudes, and go there now, and just keep supporting and keep going to these shows. And so, yeah, Vinny's loss, man, was big. But we're, I don't know if you know about the tribute that we're doing. Did you hear about that?
I did. That's what I was going to ask you about.
Yeah, we're doing a tribute at Louder Than Life on Saturday, September 29th, and on Saturday, October 13th in Sacramento at the Aftershock Festival. Danny Wimmer presents these festivals, and Danny asked me to put together a Vinny tribute. And at first, he was just kind of like, let's just keep it simple. You can just get up and play some songs and DJ and talk and maybe have a few guests. And I was like, first of all, thank you guys for asking. I'm honored, and of course I'm going to help, but we can't do that. We need to do a jam, and they were like, well, that's a lot of work. We can't do that, and there's not a budget, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, I'll make it work. I'll do it. I got it. I don't want anything. Don't give me it. Well, we were going to give you this. No, I don't want anything. No, I will not take anything for this. Let's do this right. And they said, all right, we trust you, Jose. Go for it. Do it. See if you can make it happen. 2 months later, press release comes out yesterday. We made it happen. So it was a lot of work, man, to work with the musicians that are playing on that stage. I wanted to do some Hell Yeah songs. I wanted to do some Damage Plan songs. But it's hard to force people that aren't getting paid and that are just doing this as a favor to learn a song that, everybody wants to play Pantera songs. So right. I was like, yeah, but we got to do this and we got to do that. And they're like, but if we can fly people in, then maybe we can do it. Then it just becomes, we don't have that. There's no money for that. So I had to make it work. And I feel very, very awesome that we were able to make it work with the musicians and working. I'll be having 2 guys that'll be on at both festivals doing the same instrument for all songs to make it a little easier. And but I'm going to mix it up, and it's going to be really cool. And we're going to. It's just going to be. I'm in charge of it, dude. And this is like kind of crazy because I've never been in charge of something like this big by myself. But I'm gonna do it pure, man. I'm gonna do it pure. I want to give stuff out to fans. We're gonna like pay tribute big time and just fucking start some big mosh pits. Like I really want Louisville and Sacramento to go crazy. And I think when people hear these Pantera songs coming from the stage, you know, using one of Vinnie Paul's drum kits, like it's gonna be bananas. And so members from Five Finger Death Punch and Godsmack and Body Count and we just Phil from Machine Head just signed up, man. I mean, some people just want to come out and they just want to be a part of it, just like I would. If I heard about this, I'd be like, I don't want money. I'll be there. I'll fly myself out. I got it. What can I be a part of it? So that's cool. That's love right there, man. That's amore.
Oh man. So now, not only like music, but you're like involved in a few other things. And one thing, how did this happen? Like, how did you become vice president of Affliction?
That's a cool story. So, I am a massive fan of Affliction. I have been since my wife bought me my first one back in 2006. Around that time, she got me one of my first shirts, and then I got another one, and then I was doing an interview in New York with the band Ancla, who is the guitar player from Puya, and two of the guys from Ancla ended up starting King. Tony and Pepe were in Ancla. So, and I had just met them at that time. And then Tony, his sister, went to school with one of the old executives here at Affliction. So after the interview, this guy I just met, he was like, "Hey, I know a big dude at Affliction. You guys should connect," because at the time I hosted a nationally syndicated TV show called Latin Nation, and I did stuff, around the whatever, not as much as I do now. But so then I reached out to this dude, and he started hooking me up with clothes, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Whoa, I'm getting clothes!" Like, dude, I'm just super humble, man. I don't expect anything. I never want anything or ask for stuff. But then he was sending me some cool clothes. I just became super loyal. And then years after years of just wearing Affliction and just being loyal and not paid or not even hooked up or anything. I mean, I just did stuff. I would introduce this guy to metal musicians, and then he would go and do a bunch of cool things with them. And so after a while, some people changed here, and the owner of Affliction called me in to the to the California headquarters, and I visited him, and he wanted to hire me to be a brand ambassador and artist relations for the company, and living in New York. And I said, "Wow, of course, man." So I did that, and then after a couple of years, the owners were like, "We want you to move to California. Would you ever think of that?" And I said, "Hell no. Like, I can't. Like, my kids, my house, and my wife, her job, and everything." It didn't close, right? See? Oh, sorry. And so then they just said, "We want you to be here in California." And then after a while and the right time and for everybody and the scenario, we said yes. And so my family and I made the very brave move from Jersey to California. So and the guys just wanted me to do all the things that I do in the world, but just do it next to them. And again, it's just being loyal, authentic. I've never done anything. I never, "Oh, well, what are you going to give me?" These dudes just wanted to support me, and I couldn't believe that. I was like, "Whoa, you want me to be here, and you're gonna do all this stuff for really?" So, and they love my family, and that's how that happened. Just what is it? I've been with them since 2007, and then I moved over here in 2015. So 8 years of being damn loyal for no other reason than just because I was loyal.
Wow.
So and then again, dude, I'm a big fan of the clothes. We have some really cool stuff. We have the flashy stuff that people might think of, and then we have really cool stuff that's sick and kills anything else out there. We were the original. So many copycat brands have stolen our look and stuff, man. Whatever, it's cool. But we got a lot of people wearing our stuff, a lot of badasses, and then I love it. So again, it's a thing that is just authentic, man. I love it. If I didn't love this stuff, I wouldn't be involved as heavily as I am. But again, I love it, and I love the people, and I love the message. It started as a rock and roll company, man. You know, that's what it started. It wasn't a fighter MMA thing. It was a rock and roll brand, and then it became this MMA thing on accident. And then now we're not really doing any of that. It's just music, you know. And we have a really cool fan base, and it's an awesome company to be with, and they've been so supportive of all these events that I do. They're like, do this, and I have a Stone Sour event, a Corn event, a Power Flow, Tested it, Meshuggah, go for it, you know, and they help me, and we do a lot of cool things because it's cool. Again, it's not because, how much money did we make? It's, you know, they don't ever do that to me. And that's what's just so cool as well. Well, you didn't bring in money this month, so we're questioning this. Like, no, man, it's constant. It's just every day. You know, wherever I go, they go, and so they love that, and I love that they love that. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Now here's the only thing I can ever break your balls about, and that's going to be with the Affliction clothing, and that's going to be just I don't know who you got to tell, but tell them to be a little more fat guy friendly.
What are you talking about, dude? We are super. We're probably the most. I don't even want to say fat guy friendly, dude. We have 4X. Who's got 4X? I got you, dude. Give me your address. Email me your address. I got 4X, dude. If you need a 4, I got 4X. I got 3X. What do you need, dude? We're actually more than any other place, and our stuff is comfortable and not hard like concert shirts and all gross. And dude, our stuff is like washed 7 times before you even touch it. So it's really comfortable, and it lasts, and it's just great. So we actually, I think, again, more than any other company that I've ever known, way more cool with the bigger sizes, because we know that, and I know that our customer comes in all sizes, and especially with metal, I meet a lot of 3Xs and 4Xs, man, and it's always cool to hook them up. They're like, whoa, you have something in my size. I'm like, yeah, dude, I got you. So I've seen a lot of people smile when I pull out my 3Xs or 4Xs.
Because I actually, on vacation last summer, I had bought some at the Jersey Shore, and they were 2Xs. And I went to go put them on. I'm like, son of a bitch. I was so pissed off.
Dude, I got you, dude. I got you, babe. Don't worry, dude. I can hook you up, brother. We got 3Xs coming out of our buttholes, man. We're good. I got you. Yes, now, sorry. I mean, it is hard to find those in stores. Maybe a lot of stores, that's their issue. You know, if they don't want to carry, they're like, I don't want to buy a 3X. I'm not going to carry that at our store. I'll stop at 2X. That's their decision, you know. But we do have 4Xs. So, and if you go to our site, there's 4 and 3s on there too. So,
very good, very good. Yep. I love that. Cool. One last question, and then I'll let you go. And I have Trevor from 1,000 Foot Crush, which I'm sure you know. He's on the line waiting.
I love 1,000 Foot Crush. Awesome band.
Absolutely. Tequila. You have your own tequila company too?
Man, you know, besides metal, my favorite thing in life. Okay, my family too, right? But I mean, my other favorite thing, weed. But besides that, tequila. Yes, I collect tequila.
How about feet? I saw there was feet in your Facebook profile.
Yeah. Dude, yes, that's true. You got me. I do love women's feet. I have a foot fetish. Yes, sir. I look at feet. I look at shoes. I'm a high heels dude. I love a good high heel. I love beautiful feet. And, yeah, I'm a big sucker for feet. I love massaging feet. Yeah, all that. But tequila, I am a connoisseur, man, an aficionado for sure. That is a big hobby of mine for many years now. And I collect añejo and extra añejo tequilas. Those are the stuff that's been in barrels for a year and up. So it's the darker tequila. It's the premium stuff. Always 100% the agave. If it's not 100% from the agave plant, it's probably the tequila that everybody's usually drank when they were in high school or college and got so sick and got in a fight and in jail, and I never want to drink tequila again. I turn into a different person. Well, that's not real tequila. That cheap stuff that a lot of people drink is called mixto. That's what it's called, mixto. And it's 49% from the agave and 51% shit. But good tequila will not give you a hangover. It's healthy for you, and it's gorgeous. And so that's what I really got into. I think it's having just as I get older, becoming more, rooted with the culture, with Latino culture, and I always, felt like, tequila was a good avenue for that, to explore that passion. But yeah, dude, I collect tequila years ago. I discovered Rio Azul tequila in New York City, and I became a massive fan, and I just bought thousands of dollars worth of that tequila. I introduced it to all my friends and all these bands and celebrities, and everybody was blown away by it. And after a few years of just seeing people's reaction when they drink it, I can't. It's so gratifying and fulfilling to feel that, to see somebody convert to become a fan of good tequila. And then I was with Jägermeister as a paid spokesman for them, and I resigned so that I can be a public tequila guy, because they did not want me talking about tequila.
Right.
But that was my passion. And so it's, I was like, man, I got to go with what I'm passionate about. And so I went from making money to spending more money and being a tequila guy. And then I invested money. After a few years, I met the owner through by stalking him on LinkedIn and Facebook. You got me on LinkedIn. So
Yep.
I got this dude on LinkedIn, or I think it was Facebook or LinkedIn, and then he finally agreed to meet me in New York City because he lived there at the time, the owner. And we became very, very cool, fast friends. He's my age. He's from Mexico. I love him. And then after a few years is when he said he moved to California. Then we moved to California, so we became even closer. And then that's when he was like, hey, dude, do you want to invest? Let's take this up a notch. So I went from spending money to investing money and spending money. So I feel like one of these days it's gonna pay off for my children, I hope. But for me, it's a passion of mine, man. I love, every day I'll have a little glass and I'll sip on a little glass of añejo tequila. And our Rio Azul is extremely exquisite tequila, and it impresses everybody. If people are familiar with 1942 Don Julio, our añejo is on par with that, but just like half the price. A bottle of Don Julio 42 is like 120 maybe even more, and then our Rio Azul añejo is about $55-$60. So, so I mean, dude, I could talk tequila forever, but I know you guys have other guests.
I never heard anybody talk about tequila and call it exquisite and gorgeous. I think that sums it up right there.
Well, dude, I mean, it's nectar of the gods, man. It is gorgeous, and it is very sexy, man. I mean, dude, I've seen girls melt when I give them some of this tequila, man. It's really, really good stuff. And then we use the clear stuff, the plata, of our tequila. We infuse bottles with jalapenos and cucumbers, and we make this awesome drink called Satan's Jizz. And it's our spicy, it's our famous margarita. I post about it all the time. It's at every one of our parties, all my Taco Metal parties. There's always Satan's Jizz, and that's like, it's become its own thing now. It's very popular, and we love it, man. Yeah, we're just, again, I'm a big fan and lover of the things that I love, and that's it, man. I just feel like that's been a cool formula for me to follow. Just, keep with your passions, man, and keep doing it, keep working hard. And I'm not done. I'm just getting started, babe. I want to do a lot more, and I'm going to do a lot more. Again, I feel like if I will it to happen, like I'm going to will my daughter to marry Robert Trujillo's son. I'm going to will that to happen, and I'm going to marry into Metallica. So I keep on saying it every day, then it's going to happen. So
that's awesome. That's too funny, Jose.
That's true, dude. That's very true. And the parents have already signed off. Robert and Chloe have already agreed on our prearranged marriage.
Oh, that's so awesome. That'll be a hell of a wedding reception, huh?
Oh my God, dude. Oh, yes, dude. I already kind of have some ideas, but man, again, I just want to be. I want to marry into one of my favorite bands, and this is the way. This is the only way.
Oh, that's so
I got
awesome.
2 daughters, and I told Ty that he could pick any one of them. I was like, whatever one you want, dude. I mean, you can have one for 10 years, and then have the other one for 10 years. It's all good. I don't care, dude. I just want. I love Ty, and I wish he was my son.
It could happen. You just keep willing it, and it'll happen.
I got it. I'm doing it, man.
Oh, man. Jose, dude, thank you so much for doing this. Man, it was truly a pleasure talking to you. We could go on for hours more. I know we could.
Yeah, no, dude, no problem. Dude, I'm glad that we were able to move the time. Sorry I had to move it, but I'm actually going to be going, taking my family to go see The Nun right now.
Yeah. Enjoy that.
Yeah,
I don't
we're big horror movie fans, and that's my favorite. And I've raised my daughters on horror, and I'm taking them to go see The Nun. Since I'm not on Octane yesterday, today, or tomorrow, because I'm on in the mornings, I'm going to take them now, and that way I can talk about it tomorrow morning on Octane.
Nice. Well, I'll be listening.
Everything's work. Everything's work, brother. You got to turn it all into work.
I hear you. Dude, thank you so much, man, and let's keep in touch, and let's do this again.
Yeah, and send me address and size, and I'll send you out a cool care package.
Oh, awesome, dude. And I got to send you a question too. Like I don't want to say it on air, but I want to ask you a question. I'll send you an email.
Yeah, dude. Whatever. It's all good, man.
Cool, dude. Thank you again so much, man. Take care and have fun at the movies.
All right, cool, man. Thanks, man. Thanks to everyone listening, man. Keep listen to more Black Sabbath and Slayer. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Take care, Jose.
All right, peace, brother.
Bye. All right, everybody, there he goes, the one and only Mr. Jose Mangin of SiriusXM. Tune in. You couldn't hear him today, but you can hear him tomorrow morning. He'll be on Octane. Tune in and hear about The Nun and hear some killer music.